Alright, welcome back everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back, and it is time for another Starcraft 2 1 vs 1 replay cast. In the bottom right hand side of the map, we have got none other than Liquid TLO. Very fun player to watch who's been on the up and up, which is exciting. In the top left-hand side of the map, we've got a very good Protoss player. It's Liquid Harstem. So these guys are actually teammates battling it out. The Liquid family has grown, so they're both... TLO has been on there a long time, whereas Harstem's the newcomer. So it's exciting to see. Yeah, I do want to touch again on how TLO has really been on the up and up. He's been having much better results against players that you wouldn't ever expect him to beat in his current form. I know he moved to North America, so that obviously has impacted things, but he seems to be hitting his stride again, which is really exciting as the Starcraft year is kind of just kicking off. Now, we see TLO has to take that third base location versus Harstem, due to Harstem's very early probe blocking the natural. For Zergs, it's easier just to say, whatever, I'll just take the other location. That's the easiest thing to do now. Harstem behind this is probably just going to be going for a Nexus expand. You get the Nexus up, then you go into the Cyber Core. Paying attention to the build just so that I learn. And gets his probes into his gas. There's the Cyber Core. The probe for Harstem is still in TLO's base, just moving around a little bit, just being as much of a pain as possible. Look at this, harassing by right-clicking the mineral patches. This disrupts TLO's mining a little bit. If the Zerg wants to counter it, they either have to attack the probe or just keep furiously right-clicking their own workers to try and keep them on track. And now the actual amount that this affects your opponent's economy, I am not sure. But yeah, this does seem to be actually affecting TLO's mining a little bit. To what extent, I am not sure. Now, ladies and gentlemen, seeing as how we have got TLO and Harstem, two big personalities in the StarCraft 2 scene, both really fun to watch and see in interviews and stuff, let's try and hit 50 likes on this video. That would be awesome if we could blow that away for TLO and Harstem going at it. Now, for TLO, we have got no third base just yet. I imagine we'll be seeing that soon, TM. Double Queen on the way. Of course, TLO is going to have to deal with the Oracle that's coming out for Harstem, the standard Stargate opener. And it's going to be interesting to see how Stargate openers are going to work in the future, because in the upcoming StarCraft 2 patch, there's actually Oracles having spells like Revelation and such, which are cheaper now, will help with cleaning up creep, so apparently Oracles will be more effective. And this is going to be a big deal, because basically... Yeah, this is going to be a big deal, because basically what it means is that Protoss will have an easier time cleaning up creep, and I feel like this is an interesting thing, because a few months ago, Protoss players would pretty much just open up Stargate. Yeah, a few months ago or a year ago, I'd say Protoss would almost 90% of games have to open up with a Stargate, and then slowly they were inching back towards opening up with Robos, Twilight Councils. And now, this Oracle change, I wonder if it's going to make Protoss go back to favoring the Oracle play. Now, of course, the patch isn't out just yet, but it may be in the future. Alright, there's one Oracle out for Harstem. So far, he hasn't sent it out, and I guess the reason for this is that TLO hasn't actually spotted what Harstem is going for. So he's in the dark a little bit, and doesn't actually know whether there's going to be Oracles coming his way or not, and thus we see TLO has actually skipped Spore Crawlers. He hasn't gone for those yet. He's just relying on Queens for defense from the Oracles, but the Oracles, or the Adepts, are going to cross the map, and I imagine the Oracles will be moving across soon enough as well. And this could potentially catch TLO off guard. All of a sudden, if there's two Oracles in your base, even if you have two Queens, you will be in big trouble. The Oracles haven't been spotted at all by TLO. He hasn't gone for a Spore because he's actually planning his own big Roachling attack, and I'm not really sure how this maps out, so this is going to be a very interesting interaction. We see the Oracles are flying towards the third base. The Queens could just get targeted down by Harstem. I think he should have gone for the Queens, in my opinion. Instead, he's just going to get a few drones, not getting as much damage done as he could have because of how late this was. But if he targeted down the one Queen, I think that would have gone much, much better for him. He kills 3 of TLO's drones, and so, but we still see TLO is planning on going for this big attack, so Harstem's gonna need the Oracles back at home to help deal with this. His third base is getting attacked by the Lings, but the Adepts will defend this, and should do a pretty good job. 4 Adepts is no small amount. The Oracles are coming forward, they can activate their pulsar beams. 1 uses its beam to help out, both activate their beam now, and it's just the Roaches for TLO. And so the damage that Dr. Dario is gonna get done is not that much, I feel. The Roaches don't actually have that high of a DPS. They really get their strength in the early game from their high hit points. And behind this, TLO has gone into droning, but he's getting a late lair. His drone count is going up very slowly, whereas Harstem has got that third base done, so his own economy will surge up. And TLO, I think, is going to be in a very, very tough spot. He's gonna try and attack that third base. If he can kill it off, I'll be quite surprised. I think Harstem should be able to defend this. He's got an Immortal, he's got sentries. He will defend this easily. And so this game is looking very, very good for the Protoss player. TLO didn't have the best start. Not scouting the Stargate or not anticipating the Stargate seems like an odd build choice. But, I mean, he's not dead yet. He's just not in a good spot. I do like the 4th base being on the way already. Now, he is going to have the lair done soon, so he can probably start up Roach speed, I imagine. One of the things that does actually make this a bit uncomfortable, though, for TLO is the fact that Harstem has got 3 Oracles out on the map still. TLO is going to try and shoo these away with his Queens. He'll be doing that a good job. Harstem's trying to be a pain with his Oracles. Fortunately, there is Spore Crawlers in position for TLO, though may actually shut down one of these Oracles. We'll see. No, the Oracles come in, they kill off 3 drones, and TLO is feeling the pressure a little bit. TLO has been reaching for a Hydralisk Den as his tech of choice. Hydras aren't as common as they used to be, but they're still a very good unit in my opinion. 1-1's on the way for TLO as well, so he's making sure his upgrades are good, he's getting Groove Spines, and now I think we're getting to the point which TLO is just going to have to lay on that unit key, because Harstem is most likely going to be going for a big attack in the future. Protoss players don't just sit back as much as they used to, and so I think we need to be seeing nothing but units out of TLO at this point in the game. There shouldn't be any drones, any more tech. He's got to focus all on this attack that's going to be coming his way, because there will be a big attack coming his way. As we take a look, I mean, Harstem is on 3 bases, he's powering up, he's getting charged, he's probably going to be making Archons. And yeah, I imagine it'll just be a big, big attack from Harstem, unless he is going to start up Psystorm and sit back, and he actually does start up Psystorm, so maybe not planning on going for a big attack against TLO. And the longer that Harstem waits, the better this is for TLO. He's on 73 drones, 4 bases, so he can churn out a lot of Hydras. So this is actually really going to give TLO a chance to come back in the game, essentially from the deficit that he was at. As deficits in the early game diminish importance the longer the game goes on without any action. Like, if you're behind and then your opponent harasses you and then you get even more behind, you're in trouble. But then if your opponent lets you sit for a minute or two, you can kind of just macro up, and all of a sudden, say, the 10 seconds or so behind you aren't as significant as they would be, because you're playing with bigger numbers. Okay, now we see TLO is getting a 5th base on the way. I definitely don't mind this as long as he keeps up with his unit production. He's even putting the pressure a bit on Harstem, trying to make him uncomfortable. I would like to see something for TLO that's going to help him deal with the Psystorm, whether it be Banelings, whether it be teching into Lurkers, because he has been given a lot of time, and he has built up a pretty solid army with a lot of Hydras, but he will need something else, because Psystorm cuts through Hydras like a hot knife through butter. Hydras are not tanky units, they are very weak as a matter of fact. And so, I would like to see TLO get something else. I mean, he does have his +2 attack on the way, maybe start his +2 Carapace, then maybe get an Infestation Pit or a Spire, I'm not sure. Looks like TLO will lose a few probes, or a few drones, pardon me, to Harstem's attack, but then he'll clean it up, so not bad at all. Taking care of that with his Hydras, with his Queens. He's now even going for Dropper Lords, and oh, I really, really like this from TLO. A Dropper Lord attack is a great way to make a mainly Hydra Roach army more effective and get all over the place, because if he just attacks into Harstem, he'll be in big trouble from the Psystorm. And oh, we actually see one big Psystorm, and TLO could be getting caught in a blizzard right now as he's going to be getting stormed up. The Hydras eat a Psystorm. They're attacking to the north. Some get caught in a stasis ward. Could go very, very sour for TLO very quickly. The Dropper Lord plan was abandoned due to this clutch Phoenix of Harstem, which gave this away, but take a look. A lot of TLO's units are caught in that stasis ward. He's trying to come in from a good angle to try and minimize the Psystorm, but it's tough to attack into Psystorm no matter what angle you take. We see these Hydras are stepping forward, but there's one Storm. TLO taking a lot of damage on these units. His +2 attack is about to finish up, which will help him out. He's dropping Crozabals, which are good, because they can help zone the Protoss back, but I am quite concerned for TLO. He's eating so many Psystorms in the north. His units are just getting softened up so much. All it takes is 1 or 2 more Storms, and Harstem will have crushed this attack. We see Zealots closing the distance. TLO's army is melting. He's just going to have to pull back. He's only at 66 workers. He's making roaches behind this. That's not what you want, TLO. Harstem behind this is also teching up to a mothership, so very cleanly following this up, the mothership a creative way to get more damage done. And this is exactly why, as a Zerg, you don't want to just attack in with Roach Ravager. There are some players out there who try and play heavy Roach Ravager, but they eat a lot of Psystorms. And the composition does have its merits. I mean, it's fairly cheap. TLO just lost pretty much his whole army, but then he is able to remax at a decent rate, but it's still not going to be that good of a force. Alright, Harstem still building up an even scarier force, getting more and more Immortals. He's got a good amount of Psystorm. He's going to have a carrier or two, a mothership. This will be very tough for TLO to deal with. The Zerg is trying to send units out on the map to get whatever he can done, probably planning more Overlord drops with these roaches, but oh, don't run into the stasis ward, TLO. Oh, he's going to run into the stasis. Boom, a lot of roaches get caught there. TLO is once again trying to put the damage onto Harstem, but he's fighting with pretty much the same, if not a worse army than he had before, and that basically is just going to mean Harstem should win this again easily. I mean, TLO is doing a very good job splitting his forces, coming in from multiple angles. It's actually a very beautiful spread on his part. He's actually coming in from a great angle, but it doesn't seem like he's got that much to help him out. Harstem is kind of backed into a corner, though, so this is actually a really, really good attack angle from TLO. And Harstem is actually starting to run out of Psystorm, so is TLO going to make this attack work? The Zealots do come. They're going to push towards the south and really hurt these Hydras. One Psystorm comes down from the north, and it looks like a carrier will be about to pop out, so this attack has been looking lethal for TLO, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to send it home and get the win. He's cleaned up most of the Immortals, which was really, really well done, but in the end, the mothership comes forward, and that's going to be enough to push TLO back. Looks like Harstem will hold on. He dropped a lot of supplies, so did TLO, which is painful for both players, but Harstem's army is still going to be improving, building carriers now, which take a lot of Hydras to deal with, and the reason why you can't deal with carriers in a mothership with Hydras is because of Psystorm, because your units will just get chewed up. Ravagers, on the other hand, can help out if they get connections. The carriers and mothership, very, very slow units, so they are a potential way to get damage done. TLO even bringing spores forward with his creep. Harstem does drop more Psystorm on the Zerg force. Crozabal hits the Protoss fleet. TLO's trying to push forward. He's now got Spore Crawlers to help buffer for his army. The Ravagers eating more and more Psystorm. Looks like TLO is going to keep trying to push this forward. He's up on supply. He's tossing down more and more Crozabal. Hits some High Templar. I think he even killed a carrier there. Is TLO going to win this game with just pure Roach Ravager tenacity? I was writing him off, but he's just been so constant with his attack that Harstem never has had a minute to breathe. His splits earlier in the game are really paying off now, just due to how small Harstem's army is compared to TLO's. He took a really good fight, all things considered. Now we see TLO does have to pull back for a second, though. He's up 30 supply. Harstem's trying to rebuild his force as well as he can, but he doesn't have that many carriers to help out. The Spore Crawlers on the front are definitely making him uneasy. TLO's moving forward. He's tossing down Crozabals, forcing back the Protoss army. He's close to hitting this fourth base. One Crozabal, or one Psystorm hits the Zerg army, pardon me. But man, this is a crazy attack from TLO coming forward. The Zerg player just moves in, moves out, dodging Psystorms. TLO's attacking in. The Nexus is really under fire. Behind this, TLO is taking Zealot counter damage, so this attack is very, very important now for him to win this game. But look at that, more Roach Ravager reinforcements coming forward. Harstem's army isn't that big. The 4th Nexus goes down, so Harstem taking a big hit to his economy. Corrosive Biles are raining down for TLO still. He's going to potentially be able to pick off one of those carriers, but not quite yet. He is taking damage back at home. I mean, he lost like 8 more drones or something, but look at that. Harstem was knocked down to 3 bases at 15 minutes in the game, whereas TLO, he lost drones, but he's still got bases going. Army supply-wise, TLO still up just 30. Harstem's trying to reestablish his 4th base, but TLO isn't going to let him. He keeps attacking in and in. The mothership has almost been picked off. The 4th base gets canceled once again. TLO is pushing forward. Can he kill the mothership? That is a big target pickoff. It's very injured. He could focus it down, but no, he doesn't even need to. TLO wins that game when I thought he was dead. Wow, well played by TLO. A very, very good comeback. Just showing us how you can get a victory just by attacking in. I don't think Harstem expected TLO to just keep attacking in with pure Roach, Ravager, Hydra. A great attack. Then coming in at the end using the Spore Crawlers even to help out. Like, I guess those were some extra spores that he built. Or maybe they were from his 3rd or his 4th, but well done by TLO. A really, really enjoyable game between these players, and that was a crazy attack, just so dedicated there. And Harstem was really, really close to having an army that would crush TLO. Like, he had 8 High Templar or so, but they were all out of Psystorm because TLO had just been attacking so much he had drained them. So yeah, really, really well done by TLO. Ladies and gentlemen, if you enjoyed this commentary, if you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. It's completely free. You can press that bell icon to get notified whenever I upload. Join the Discord if you haven't. We talk StarCraft. And then follow me on Twitter if you haven't. And by the way, I just want to point out, look at this. Look at this for TLO, that creep highway, which just allowed him to jet his units across the map towards Harstem. It was just a Roach Ravager delivery system. I'll see you next time. This has been LaughNgamez.